If you've got big dreams and bad genes, you are in the right place. These shirts are available at barbellapparel.com, link below. There are so many strong people that exist today that we're almost numb to it. And in the face of all of this exceptional barrier breaking strength that we get to see fed to us on our feed, like somebody deadlifted 1,000 pounds, it's just another Tuesday. It is rare to see something that is actually shocking, that is actually an example of something that nobody's ever really seen before. So hopefully what I'm about to share with you today changes your ideas a little bit about what the outer limit of strength actually is. Now we're talking about Lucas Hatton, who is a relative newcomer on the world strongman scene. To give you an example of the strength of Luke Hatton, I want to start off with his relative weakest event, which is a deadlift. Now here he is at Brian Shaw's show, Strongest Man on Earth, earlier this year, and this is his third attempt, a 931. And it's weird to say that a 931 isn't world class anymore. Now they are going without suits, so the winning number was Thor's. It was just over 1,000 pounds. But here he is grinding it out, and he gets it to what would have likely been a good down command in just about any other strongman contest you could go to. We don't really worry about soft knees in strongman, so usually people have a little ride in their knees, not for lack of strength, usually for lack of cueing. But they had Ed Cohn as the head judge, because of course you want a powerlifter judging strongman deadlifts to powerlifting standards. Why wouldn't you? But instead of being pedantic, I'm going to go ahead and say Luke Hatton stood up with this 931 without the benefit of a deadlift suit. And that's his weakest lift. His overhead strength is especially of note. Here is a 440 pound, 200 kilogram by 5 push press. And it moves with the type of ease that you need in order to hit 500 pound axles and logs in contest. He looks so stable and comfortable with the weight. He has a pretty solid rack position. He's not going to be mistaken for an Olympic lifter anytime soon, but he does do things like snatch balances in his training. His elbows are pretty high. The bar is pretty far back against his neck. And he has this nice, stable rack position to really make the most out of his leg drive. And he just gets a little dip, quick pop off the heels, and the bar goes overhead very easily. But what I really want to talk about today is his squat strength. Going back to Strongest Man on Earth, here is Lucas Hatton going into the infamous squat machine. Notice that his depth is actually about as close to a good competition depth as just about anybody that went. Most of you will correctly say these are a bit high. I've seen certain federations, powerlifting feds, that would pass most of these, but they were certainly lower than Mitch Hooper, who admittedly gamed the system just to collect the most amount of points. This machine that stapled so many people, supposedly over 800 pounds, stapled 1,000 pound squatters, oddly enough, Luke comes in, gets relative depth, clocks 5 solid reps before bowing out. Now that's all well and good, but why does this merit a video? It merits a video because Luke is one of the few people who in the modern era could make my jaw drop. And he did so with this feat, which I do not believe I have ever seen before. I don't think I've even ever heard of somebody completing this feat. High rep squats have kind of an underground following. They've been seen as a rite of passage in a lot of circles. There have been strongmen in the past that have popularized them. Jesse Morunde was known for doing them in the vein of Iron Mind's super squat style breathing squats where you're taking multiple breaths in between. Nick Best was known for doing 20 rep deadlifts. And in the vein of strongman and the type of capacities you need for strongman, it makes sense to throw these kind of challenges in every now and then. And if we're going to rank 20 rep squats, you could look at a 225 or about 100 kilo squat as a demonstration of basic physical ability. You're competently strong, you're useful as a human being, probably a bit more so than most of the people you might find at a construction yard. If you go to 315, congratulations, you have now exceptional strength. To be able to squat 315 for 20 reps takes a level of strength most people don't have. You're probably on the order of a 500 pound squatter if you can do that feat. Or even if you're not, you just have big brass balls and can suck it up until you get that last number. I remember hitting my first 405 for 20 and I felt like I was the strongest man alive. Well, at least the strongest man in like a 10-mile radius. And then you get up to some of the exceptional feats. We've seen 500 by 20 from multiple people, and that has been something that you would only see from literal competitive squatters at the top of the top, people who not only could hang at the biggest contest with the strongest men, but that also like to dabble in ball-breaking, skin-boiling feats of strength endurance, like a hard all-out high-rep set. set. Recently, we've seen people chasing Tom Platz's squat record, where he supposedly did 525 for 23 reps at the FIBO exhibition in Germany so many decades ago. And even if we accept that that was like a legit feat, they didn't use fake plates or anything, we really got insight into what the upper limits of performance are when some of the world's best squatters tried to go after it and either failed or had a very, very hard time doing it. Joe Sullivan got stapled trying it, and he was an extremely talented powerlifter with a very good squat. Matt Wenning, a world record holder in the squat, managed to do it by cutting Platz's depth in half and for some reason using 5 pounds less. And Mitch Hooper also managed to do it, but also took much, much longer to clock the reps than Tom Platz did. And the closest I could think of anybody getting to that is Larry Wheels, who did 500 for 25 at a time where he could do an unwrapped 900-pound squat. So in the face of all this feat that I'm building up to, what Lucas Hatton pulled off that I did not think that I would ever see anybody attempt, even if they were technically capable of it, I give to you this feat. That's right, that says 600 for 20. Now I want to point out a couple of things. First of all, is that Luke is pulsing these reps the way a bodybuilder does. He is not catching his breath at the top. He's not strategically pacing out his reps. He's already at 8 reps here, and he's gliding through them like a searing hot knife through butter. 12 reps, 13 reps without taking a break. This is his first break. He's got 7 to go, and he's just starting to take a breath at the top. Not only is this one of the most disgusting feats I've seen just as far as actual completion, somebody doing this in a breathing style squat that would take 2 minutes to get through. I mean, it's just impressive holding 600 pounds on your back for that long. But Luke is doing this the way that you would do any AMRAP in training. This is just like a working set to him. And with that, he finishes what is arguably one of the greatest feats of strength that has ever been demonstrated. And if you don't believe me, look at some of the notable people that are giving him praise. Andrew Clayton, who's not only one of the best 105 kilogram strongman to have ever lived, but who won the Opens at OSG. Without a doubt, one of the best strongmen in the world. Martin Zalisis is impressed. Big Laws saying that's incredible. You got Zach McCarley, one of the more dominant 105s in the history of strongman. Is this the heaviest ever set of 20 rep squats? And Zach's going to be somewhat of an authority because he trained in the Pacific Northwest, up and around Jesse Morunde, who popularized 20 rep squats some 2 decades ago with Grant Higa and the Sequium crew, and all those guys would do just disgusting feats of strength endurance. Nick Best, Tom Platz likes squatting here. So I just wanted to bring some attention to that because as well as it's doing on Instagram, it still hasn't gotten the exposure it deserves. This is without a doubt one of those feats that changes your idea of what is possible with strength. The fact that he did it in 51 seconds, he did it in under a minute, that actually means there's room for this to improve. If you're going to have somebody go for like a kind of true full bore 20 repper, will we ever see somebody take 650 or 700 pounds and pace their breathing to 20 reps without racking it? And what kind of mutant would that person look like? Something tells me it would look a lot like Luke Hatton. If you guys want a little bit of insight on how to make something like this happen, how do you form yourself in the image of this mighty meat monster? Well, not only are you going to be doing regular squatting, obviously, but the squatting is going to be done with effort, direction, purpose. You are going to be progressing forward. And it's not just your 1 rep max. It's not just those 90% plus vinegar strokes that are super neurologically oriented towards maximizing strength. This has to come from a routine that prioritizes volume, that prioritizes that type of strength endurance. Basically, that means you are in fact incorporating high rep sets regularly into your training, and you are going after them like it's your job. So if you've been wondering why your squat hasn't moved or why you've had trouble getting it to tick forward, if it feels stuck, you have to ask yourself, on these brutal sets of squats, do you get excited to jump into these? Do you count the days until the next time you get to break that AMRAP? Do you walk through and visualize what every step of that workout is? Your warm-ups, your stretching, how you put your gear on, how you approach the bar, how you take that first rep, and how you finish the last one? Or do you do what most people do, and do you dread it? Do you make excuses? Do you put it on the back burner? Do you clock your main volume and say, you know what, that's good enough. I really don't need to feel that much discomfort today. Hopefully watching this video gave you a little bit of inspiration to go out and actually get some work done. And when it comes to building your body, increasing your strength, and making you a more useful human being to the people around you, there's nothing that's going to do it better than getting under a bar and hitting 20 reps or as close to it before you start convulsing. So this is a rare motivational Bromley tidbit. Hopefully this inspired you to go out and get some work. And if you guys want some tools to help, go ahead and click the link below. It's going to take you to a little secret lockbox of various slideshows, programs, PDFs I've put together from videos over the years. All you got to do is drop your email and you will get access to so many goodies. In fact, I think locked in there is the full breakdown of my program Bullmastiff, pulled directly from my book Base Strength. What can I say? We're a week out from Christmas. I'm in the giving mood. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Leave your comments in the comment box. Till next time, this is Bromley. I'll see you.